Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Talking Cricket. My name is Rich. Hopefully, you're all well. We haven't done one of these for a little while. So, with England's Test series against New Zealand starting next week, we thought we'd better come and have a chat about some cricket. If you are watching on YouTube, please do hit the like button. You can also subscribe to the channel if you want to. It'd be great if you could. And we also have a cricket page on Twitter at One Talking Cricket. Been a bit lax of late, but hopefully we will get back on that and put some stuff on there at One Talking Cricket if you want to give that a follow as well. Anyway, tonight I'm joined by Ian and Rob. If he's there, maybe he's not there. He might be joining us later, Ian, so it might just be me and you. No Neil tonight, no Brandon, so we will have to muster through on our own. Anyway, how are you? Are you getting better?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm improving. I've defied medical science. I'm still here. Angela's put the insurance documents away. Now I'm still alive. No, I'm improving. Yeah, getting better slowly. It's been a bit of a struggle. I came out of hospital last week, yeah, slowly but surely I'm getting there. Thank you.
Good to hear, mate. Anyway, welcome to Irv in the chat. Big cricket fan. Hope you're well. Big Ipswich Town fan as well. And if you are a football fan, stay with us because 8:30 tonight, Talking Town, we're previewing the big game. That's why Neil's not here tonight because he's a Sheffield Wednesday fan and he's not here. We're playing them tomorrow. Anyway, Ian, shall we start with the T20 Women's World Cup that starts this weekend? Do you want to have a little bit of a chat about? Here he is. Rob he's decided to join us.
The cricket.
How are you?
Evening, boys. Yeah.
How's it going?
Thanks for turning in.
Thanks for coming.
I think as we speak, Sri Lankan women got 129 for 4. South Africa needs 74 off 9.4 overs. Yeah, it's the Women's World Cup being held in South Africa. It's 10 teams, 2 groups of 5. The top 2 in each group play in the semi-finals. I think the semi-finals are 23rd, 24th of this month, with the final being on Sunday, the 26th. The favourites from the groups, from Group 1, probably looking at Australia and New Zealand, with Australia the favourites to win the tournament, where England are second favourites, and likely to come from that group is England and India. You'd certainly would have thought. I think Australia play New Zealand tomorrow at 5. But England kick off against the Windies tomorrow at 1 p.m. But as I say, has kicked off.
Windies, we've got Ireland on the 13th, India on the 6th, 18th. It might be 16th. Can't understand my right. And then Pakistan we end up. So you would say semi-finals, England, India, Australia, New Zealand then?
You would think so. You never know in this kind of tournament. Obviously, they've got 4 group games. Anything can happen. I think that's the beauty of it. I wouldn't write off South African women either. But if I was a betting man, then yeah, I think I'd go for Australia, New Zealand, England, India as your final 4.
Anyway, Mr. Cricket, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, really good. Been a while, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the first one of the year. Obviously, back now into Test cricket starting on. Is it Thursday morning, 1 a.m.?
1 a.m. Yeah, it's
early hours.
Taranga, isn't it? The first test.
Day night, and I think both tests are live. They're on BT Sport. I think also TalkSport 2 have got the radio coverage, haven't they?
They have.
Rob has muted himself. He's back.
I'm here, mate. Background noise.
Anyway, we'll get onto that. We'll a quick. While you're here, Rob, Jofra Archer, great to see him back in England colours. It's been a long while after he's obviously had his elbow injury, then he had his stress fracture in the back. But just great to see him back on the field and great to see him back amongst the wickets. Is he here?
Yeah, do you want me? You want me?
Yeah, yeah.
No, awesome. I've been sort of like badgering him about his name on the last few pods, saying just don't forget about him. I know he's been out for a while. Don't forget about him. His express pace, his action is gorgeous. His straight lines, he's up and down. He's rhythm. He's effortless, and he's sharp. And he doesn't look sharp from the naked eye, but he gets it through. And the batter, it's a heavy ball, and the batter knows all about it. And he does it with a smile. And he loves playing for England, and he loves doing well, and he loves having a good time. And it's great to see him back and leading the attack.
Your dog is setting my dog off because it can bark.
Yeah, that's why I was muting, because the dog Sam came back. The dog's going crazy.
So I think am I right, Ian, that the white ball team next were in Bangladesh? That's the next white ball.
Yeah, March.
Archer's in both squads, isn't he?
Yeah, they've got a one-day series in Bangladesh. I think it's 6 games. Obviously, there's a lot of thought and preparation going into the next World Cup. And yeah, I think it's the first couple of weeks in March. They've got a one-day series against Bangladesh, 6 games.
So Rob's man's in there. Rayhan Ahmed, he's been picked. Tom Abel from Somerset, he's getting a gig.
Yeah, well, I think Tom Abel deserves a look in. If we're playing this positive style of cricket, he would fit into that quite nicely.
I suppose he's been selected, hasn't he? Because obviously some of the white ball players are obviously in New Zealand. But it's an opportunity for him, isn't it, to come in and showcase what he's got and hopefully do well and put his name in the frame.
I think the irony is, if we sort of turn the clock back 12 months when we were having a bit of a nightmare and it was, having a bit of a drains up about who we could possibly bring in, was county cricket creating the kind of plays that we'd find successful. I think Tom Abel was a player that was mentioned. I'm now being hassled by.
I didn't think I had a cat there.
Yeah,
Eldine Baptiste was in the house. The cat.
Yeah, Eldine Baptiste, the cat. So it's interesting that we're having a look at these players now, when really you could have argued that we should have had a look at him 12 months ago. But I think Tom Abel deserves a go, and let's have a look at him.
There's not many white ball games now between now and the World Cup, is there? So
no, there'll be 1 and 2. They'll be leaving no stone unturned.
Anyway, shall we get on to the main event, Rob? Shall we talk about England and New Zealand and the warm-up game? England hit a small matter of 465 all out in 69.2 overs.
Yeah, well, obviously a bit rain affected, but Harry Brook cracked on, didn't he? Hit 30 in 1 over, blocked the first ball, and then took him for 5 sixes. The way I've said it before, but the way, if it's full, he's hitting it back over your head, and if it's a millimetre short, he's back on that back foot, heaving it over deep mid wicket for 6 every single time. I don't think he's failed to hit it for 6. If he picks that length up and rocks back, he does it better than anyone in the world. It's like, Brian Lara used to just rock back and pull for fun, but I'm talking seam. The way he hits a spinner who drops any short at all, he's on the back foot, lofting it away, forget it. It's unbelievable. It's so good to watch. And, I talked last time about how he has definitely got a different setup for sort of spin and seam, and he doesn't look in any trouble. It's like Peterson and just some of the best players we've ever seen. They don't look in trouble. They've got a lot of time. Root's got a lot of time because he plays it late. Brook gets himself out. Brook's like, right, let's score 100 and then find a way to get out today. Obviously he doesn't think like that, but it's like he just looks so good. It's unbelievable, and for a lot of us, a lot of people who don't get to see cricket before they hit the England side, that people don't get to follow the county cricket because on video the way it is. But I'd not seen much of him, and Neil was bad, going on about him, and you just go, okay, numbers. I like a number, I like a stat. Numbers are good, but to see him in the flesh, he's different human. He's unbelievable. So naturally, with Johnny out, he gets the run in the team, stays in the team, and plays 100 tests and wins us the World Cup.
He's here to stay, and look, I think we'll probably have this chat further down the line in the summer about, because obviously Bairstow hopefully will be fit for the Ashes. I know they've got a test against Ireland before that, but it's going to be interesting who will be the odd man out. We'll discuss that probably a couple of pods time, I'd have thought. But so we've got 465, Root 77, Harry Brook 97. Nice to see Dan Lawrence. Not that I'm a little bit biased, from Essex. 85 folks, 57, and then New Zealand 310 all out. It was nice to see Ollie Stone back in England colours, getting 3 wickets in, because he's another one, isn't he? He's had injury problems.
He has, and to be brutally honest, I think he's been quite impressive. And what I'm hearing is that he's gonna get the nod. But don't quote me. I have got him down in my 11, perhaps controversially, but he has looked impressive. He's had a couple of good returns in the games where he's come back, and they might just have a look at him.
Right. Well, while we're on the subject, then we might as well name our 11s. As you've gone a little bit early there with Ollie Stone in yours. We'll be interested to see who we leave out. Obviously, it is a day-night test, so I don't know if your friend Jack Leach makes your team, but we will get there soon. So we'll start with the openers. I think they probably pick themselves. I think most of the team probably picks itself, doesn't it, when you think Duckett and Crawley. Duckett and Crawley?
For now.
For now.
Jennings and Bohannon. No, I've got Crawley and Duckett.
Do you think Duckett's the one, Rob?
My surgeon prescribed.
How many? How many are you allowed though?
She said hopefully you'll get to a stage where you lose count. So
that's okay.
She's actually the daughter of somebody I used to play cricket against. So they managed to sort of time the op, so I'll be okay for the cricket season. So I guess it's who you know, isn't it? But yeah, put me at my ease.
So
sorry about that. I have got Crawley and Duckett.
Do you think, Rob, Duckett's the one under pressure?
Yeah, I think because Crawley, they stuck with Crawley, didn't they? In the summer, we probably all of us were imploring for him to probably have a bit of a dip out and have a go at county cricket and come back. But Duckett, I think those who look at it cricket wise and go, okay, Pakistan away, spinning, flat, sweep the ball, reverse sweep it, do what you need to do. But New Zealand away on a green one is completely different, isn't it? It's a completely different scenario. We saw in South Africa, he got one knock, didn't he? But is he going to go as well as he did in Pakistan against New Zealand? I personally don't think so, but I'll back him because of the way he plays. You're right. I think he's between him and Crawley. Crawley's probably a bit of a lock at the moment for a period, and Duckett is the one probably we are looking at. And with my analysis about it being completely different to Pakistan, horses for courses.
Yeah.
But the runs he got mean you can't drop him, so it's that. Or we'll have to play him, but so we shall see. But yeah, I agree.
It is a fair point, Ian. I know people might think that's a little bit unfair on Ben Duckett because he had a great series, didn't he, in Pakistan? But look, we're just going to have to see how he goes. But then if Bairstow comes back in the summer, which we expect, it leaves that question who opens with Crawley. Do they move Bairstow up? So we'll just have to wait and see, I think, won't we?
Be interesting to see how he goes. I mean, it's interesting you use the word pressure because this new regime and this mindset that the England team have got now, they seem to be playing without any pressure. They're able to go out and not feel losing and not, don't worry about losing your wicket. Although I think there's sometimes one or two many reverse sweeps for my liking, but I suppose I'm old school. But I think that he might do okay in New Zealand. It will be a different challenge to Pakistan, but there might be some green toppers, sometimes similar to English conditions, with similar sort of bowlers as well. But it will be more of a test. It's going to be more of a test for anybody because I do think it's going to be nipping about a little bit. It's going
to be like and it's going to be like playing in England in April, May, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's conditions we're akin to, but
temperate climate and that.
But also Duckett plays at Nottingham, which is about there, or the Oval is about the flattest pancake going, isn't it? So what's he like at Gloucester, at Derby, at Leicester, at Worcester, and
Taranga.
Taranga, exactly, mate. So we shall see. But it's funny, and you say, well, too many reverse sweeps for me. I wouldn't put him past it. I wouldn't put it past somebody reverse ramping Jameson over the slips in the third over the way we're going. And I'm buying a ticket. I'm front row. Bring it on.
These are normally quite small grounds as well, aren't they, in New Zealand? Odd shaped, some of them. So you expect, look, scoring rates are going through the roof anyway, I think, wherever England plays. So I think it'll be, whatever happens, it's going to be entertaining. Will either of you be sitting up through the night watching any?
Yeah, I probably will, actually, because my sleep pattern's a bit goosed at the minute anyway. So I think I probably will. I think I probably will tune in.
What time's kickoff, Rich?
Well, 1 a.m. obviously, because this is a day night, and then the second test is obviously 10 p.m. So you probably get a couple of hours in for the second test.
I'm doing. I think like many of our listeners, I'll be doing probably 6 a.m.
You're right. It's half term, isn't it? It's half term though next week.
Yes,
so
I just can't. I just don't think I've got the stamina. I just don't think I can stay up till 1 o'clock to watch half an hour. I'd rather just get up at 6 and watch 2 or 3. I just think that's the lay of the land. And then 10 p.m. I do like that in New Zealand. You do watch a session, don't you, in New Zealand?
Yeah.
And it's pretty cut and dry. You watch a session, and if it's Root and it's Root and Brooke going and they're 80 each, I think I'd probably put the coffee pot on. Yeah, but try and stay fresh as a daisy. But I just think if it's dull, then pick your moments to. I
think there's a cyclone, did I read, Ian, maybe coming over for the first test.
Really? Oh, I didn't.
A little bit weather heading that way.
Let's hope it passes them by as well. But well, that would be interesting.
Anyway, should we talk about the future England captain at number 3, Ollie Pope?
Yeah, let's.
What do you think to that? He's obviously, they're grooming him, aren't they? I think for when Stokes goes, because he's led a couple of times in these warm-up games. I think they said he would have captained Ian in Pakistan when they all had the illness. So it looks as though, even though they haven't there's not a vice captain been named.
No, there isn't.
He seems the one that they're sort of going to be looking for the future when Stokes, which I think it'll be a couple of years at least. He's the one that of a target.
There's been a couple of articles, hasn't there? I think Stuart Broad's spoken about it, and George Dolan, the cricketer, and he's increasingly got more of a voice in the changing room. I think that could be something to do with perhaps the upturn in his form as a batsman, because during the summer I thought he was treading a very fine line to be in the side if he had a couple more failures, and I think they might well have looked elsewhere. So apparently he's vocal in the changing room. He is the sort of archetypal future England captain, isn't he? Unlike Stokes, obviously it's from a totally different background. So they seem to be going back to that. But yeah, I mean, somebody's got to take over when Stokes stands down. You don't know what's going to happen with Stokes' fitness.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's not getting any younger. I think it's going to be fairly short, but pretty sweet, the Stokes captaincy. But yeah, there's a lot of players in that team. The Crawleys, the Ducketts, the Harry Brook, and you wouldn't really have any of the bowlers as captain, I wouldn't think, at this stage. Maybe Broad, but he's coming to the end of his days, and he needs to just focus on what he's doing, to be honest. So I think Pope probably sticks out a little bit if he can maintain his form. There may be others. I think we may have spoken on the pod about other options, but yeah, he does seem to be being groomed, as you rightly say.
Yeah. So we've all got Pope at 3, Joe Root 4.
Yeah.
Harry Brook 5, Stokes 6. What about the wicket keeper? Is Folks taking the gloves here? Because obviously he was ill, wasn't he, Rob, for the first test in Pakistan?
He was, and Pope did a reasonable job. He dropped a couple, didn't he? But he took a crucial one in the last hour. Thinking back to that first test, I I just think I think we're that good. I think we're that good that we can afford the luxury nowadays of a specialist wicketkeeper who happens to be the best wicketkeeper in the world. And you know what? New Zealand, it's going to be nipping around. You know, you need to take those nicks, and he will do that. You know, it's a given that he will do the business behind that. So I'm in his camp. I want a specialist keeper who's not going to let me down. He averages like, I don't know, 35 anyway.
Yeah,
so
he got 57 in the warm-up game.
Yeah,
he's the one player, isn't he? He's the one player, Ian, he doesn't go crash bang wallop. He's the glue for me in that sort of lower middle order. He bats properly, doesn't he? For me, Ben Foakes.
Yeah, and let's face it, these lads have got in this side doing what they do and doing it very well. And Foakes is one of those. I think I know there's a lot been talked about, and we've spoken about the Bazball thing. Clearly, there's a total change in mindset, and I don't think it's about the skills of the players, because we were arguing last year that these are good players. Why are they not working? And it was down to captaincy, it was down to leadership, it was down to mindset, and it was down to psychology. You know what they've done, changing the what's up here with the players, has been absolutely phenomenal. And I think Foakes, he's great with the gloves. He's really good with the bat. He plays properly. And that's what you need. You know, it's not about teeing off from ball one. And even McCullum and Stokes would probably say that as well. It's Test cricket. I've got Foakes in my side, and, you know, I don't want him to be trying to, you know, come across his stumps and, you know, levering first ball over fine leg or whatever. I want him to play properly, because he's good at it. He's good at it.
He's in my team because he's the best, like you say, Rob. He's the best wicket keeper, you know, and he can bat. He's a very good batsman, like you say, averaging 35. So it's a no-brainer to me. Look, they could go down the Bairstow route in the summer. I hope they don't, because I think now Ben Foakes is in the team. He deserves that run, and that real run in the team that he probably hasn't had before. It's just like a couple of times he got injured, didn't he? I think, did he slip over? Was it in the shower or something when he done his hamstring, when he'd just got back in the team? It's interesting to say about mindset, Ian. The thing that is going to, I'm not looking forward to it. The thing that interests me is when this team has 2 or 3 maybe difficult results. Because we're going to. It's going swimmingly at the minute. You know, we're smashing it out of the park, but we've got the Australians coming in the summer. We'll talk about them in a little while, about what's happening in India, but it's going to be a different test for me. Look, I know how they're going to play. They're going to go all out, but it might not work like it has now. And that's interesting to me, Ian, how we psychologically, if we get rolled over a couple of times in the Ashes, because, you know, in the media, probably on the radio, there'll be conversations had. Look, maybe we need to adjust this approach. I don't think they will, but it's interesting to me how we will, when it comes, because it will come, I think. Because in sport, I think, yeah, you're in form, but you can soon get out of form, you know. And this is the interesting thing, Ian. I don't know what you think, but to me, this is when we're going to see what this team's really made of.
I think if the Australians get on top, they do not take the foot off the throat, and it will be a test. I mean, I know it was only the 1 days against South Africa. South African cricket, it's something of a renaissance with the 2020 cricket. They've got the World Cup. Absolutely fantastic to see. But in the 1 days, you know, we had a bit of a glitch there. We lost 2 games. Fantastic innings from Buttler and Malan. I know I'm going slightly off topic, but the way that they batted was absolutely extraordinary. They put on over 200 for that 4th wicket, I think it was, or was it the 5th wicket? But they batted properly. They batted expansively. They batted positively, but they batted properly. It was fantastic to see them building innings. That's still a thing, you know. That's still a thing. When I think it was Jeff Boycott that said, when things are difficult, right? When you're batting, things will get easier, but you've got to be there to see it and experience it.
Yeah.
There's no point being in the pavilion. So I think that was fantastic what Butler and Milan did. I think you're absolutely right. We're going to get a test where we either do the Bazball thing and we absolutely fail and collapse. I don't think that will be great. I think if we are on the back foot, I think that's when we need to change our style of play. Genuinely, I'm only one voice. I'm probably not. There's probably plenty of people not in agreement. But it will be tough. It might be this series against New Zealand where we're seeing that we're backs against the wall and we've got to play in a different way and we've got to grind out a result. We'll see. But you're right. It is about mindset, and it's great when you're winning and you can slot these people in and you can accommodate Brook and you can do this sort of thing. As for Bairstow coming back in, he might not get back in. Now, that's a controversial opinion, but he might not get back in. If this team keeps winning and doing so in a fabulous style with funky fields and high run rates, Bairstow's going to have to prove his form and fitness. Will he get in? I don't know.
What do you think on that, Rob? What do you think about the mindset? It's like, well, it's going well at the minute. Do you think they'll change? Or do you think we'll just go harder?
I think we'll keep going harder. We keep trying to just break rules and break normality and keep cracking on. I think it's great. I think I agree with Ian. I just hope the day that we blow up isn't day one of the Ashes. I mean, it'll just be really a pain in the arse, really. But it could happen, and we have to just accept it and roll with it and go hard day two. Or if that test's in the bin straight away, then there's 4 more tests to go. It like I've said before, it happened in the World Cup and the T20 World Cup. We got to a point where we lost games we shouldn't have done because of the way we played, and then we were back to the wall. And actually, the way we then played, the quality shined through, and that the approach was better, was the right way to do it. And obviously, we're double white ball champions, aren't we? Yeah, I agree with everything Ian said. To be honest, mate, he's spot on, and I just love the journey. I just love being on this journey. You think about where we were a year ago, sat here moaning about Fisher Fisher's opening the bowling and Collingwood's in charge and this and that. It was rubbish, and all we used to do on here was moan, wasn't it? The first 5 or 6 pods I did was moaning about stuff and just trying to pick holes. Trying to be positive about stuff. But the last 6 months, I've been going right 3-0 England. Yeah, proved right. Enjoying that anyway. Right, Rich, I've got to go. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, mate. So I'll just leave it on. Okay?
Yeah, sure, mate.
See you soon. Bye.
All right.
Cheers, Rob.
Oh, am I on my own? Oh,
I'm here. I had not.
Left hanging there.
Yeah,
so right, we got to folks. We're on agreement. We will now go to number 8. I've got Ollie Robinson in my team, Ian.
Right. Well, I've not got Ollie Robinson in the team. I've got Ollie Stones. Ooh. I know it's a big call, and you're probably going to be right. It's probably going to be Robinson, but I've liked what I've seen with Stones. He's come back well. He's had some good returns, and as I say, I've got a sneaking feeling that I've not got the inside track, but I'm not just saying that because I've heard a rumour, but I genuinely think that they should give him the nod. It'd be interesting to see how they're going to manage Broad and Anderson.
Also got Matthew Potts in the squad. He seems a little bit. He had a really good summer, didn't he? He seems a bit like the forgotten man at the minute, Ian.
Yeah. Did he get a knock? Did he have an injury and then had to sort of recuperate?
I don't think he had an injury, did he? I don't think he had an injury. I think Robinson came back, then he got fit, and then he sort of took his place. But he had a really good start to his Test career. They might look. It's obviously only a 2-test series, which I don't really like, if I'm honest. I don't really like 2 Test series because I like to have a result. So we might win 2-0. Who knows? But I think with the bowlers, obviously you got Broad, you got Anderson, you got Robinson, you got Stone, you got Potts. Do you think there'll be a little bit of rotation over the 2 games?
Yes. I'm not happy with a 2-game series. especially against New Zealand. They're one of the best test sides in the world.
So this isn't for test points neither, is it? For the championship, which is another strange thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be. I mean, I'm a bit of a cricket padger, but even I'm confused sometimes by the schedules and why things get done. There was that series that was after the World Cup with Australia that was, we chucked that in for whatever money agreement had been made, and nobody seemed up for it. Although I think the attitude of some of the players was poor in that. Once you're pulling that shirt on, you should be giving it 110%. But it does seem a little bit odd, So I do think that they'll rotate it. I think they've got their eye on the summer, they've got their eye on the Ashes, rightly or wrongly, and I think that this is our last chance to see a bit of Test cricket before we play in the summer, and I think they'll have a look at them. They won't want to overwork Broad and Anderson. I think they will play one Test. I've got them down in this first one, and then I think they'll be left out of the second Test.
Yeah, you'd think Jimmy and Stuart Broad will be licking their lips, wouldn't they, playing under the lights?
Oh, absolutely.
Pink ball. Jimmy's racking up. How many wickets does he need to get to 700 now? He's like 26, 27 wickets, I think.
Yeah, he's not far off, and he doesn't look like any interviews that he's had. The Burnley Express, and obviously you sent me a little.
Yeah, we were there. We were there at Burnley Cricket Club. Some great memorabilia in there. We see. There's I don't know how long ago you last went in. There's a lovely picture of Charlie Griffith in there. Mm-hmm. So he's taken 144 wickets at just over fives. Unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great. As I was saying when you yourself and Colin rang me, and I was so pleased to get that call because I was having a bit of a bad time. I was in a lot of pain at the time, so thanks for that. But yeah, I've not played at Burnley, but I've taken our Northern League Pal Shield Interleague team there, and it for those that don't know, it backs right onto Burnley Football Club, and people often go for a drink in there before they watch the football. I did challenge some of our under-11s to try and get the ball in the football ground, and I put 50 quid on the table, but it's a big hit for.
That's a big hit over the stand.
Yeah,
that is a big hit.
Safe, yeah. But yeah, it's no, it was nice that, but yeah, it's it's a nice ground.
So you've gone for Broad, Jimmy. Have you gone for a spinner?
Yeah, I've gone for Leach. They'll pick Leach.
Yeah,
that's how I've put Leach in.
Will Jacks is in the squad as well. He's in, and obviously Dan Lawrence. They make up the 15. I'd be surprised if Jacks and Lawrence play.
No, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, I know that Lawrence did well, got 85, didn't he, in the warm-up game. Interesting to see them in the squad, but I think they're leaving no stone unturned. They're having a look at everybody.
Yeah,
they're giving everybody a chance. I think in an environment and an era almost with this Stokes McCullum management system that they've got, probably it's easier to keep your place in a winning team where a lot of these guys are performing and doing exactly what is asked of them, so they're taking chances. Don't be frightened to get out. This kind of thing. They're not just shutting up shop and thinking, if I can get 30 or 40 here, if I can do this, I can keep my place. They're not playing for the place. They're playing for the team, and they're playing for the teammates, and they're playing for the win. And I think it's difficult to break into this team, especially if it wins these two tests.
Yeah.
But to be fair to England, I think they're having a look at the likes of Abel and Lawrence and these players. And that's got to be a good thing, because what we said, I think, 12 months ago is that there were certain players in county cricket who were probably good enough to get in this side. And we're probably seeing 3 or 4 of them in this squad now and performing. Brook, Duckett, Stones. So it's interesting to see what will come out of it.
But that has to be rewarding, doesn't it? If you're doing well for your county, you should be rewarded in the end.
Mm.
You have to be, because that's what the be all and end all is. Obviously, county teams to produce obviously players for England. What we predicting then for these 2 tests? Obviously, Kane Williamson stood down now, so Tim Southey's the New Zealand captain. Had a couple of tests in Pakistan. I think was it a drawn series, wasn't it? They nearly won.
Yeah, I think the wickets.
I think both of them they nearly won at the end, didn't they? They just sort of
did.
Wickets beat them.
Yeah, it's I don't know, 1-1.
I'll probably go for it. I'd probably go for a draw. I like New Zealand. I think I really like, obviously, how they play the cricket. And obviously, Lancashire have signed a couple of the Kiwis.
They have 2 good signings as well. And Dane Villas will play as an overseas, so I think they're covered. Throughout the championship season. And obviously they've got de Granholm who will play some county, but they're looking at white ball.
Has he lost his powers? Has he lost his powers since he's had his main?
I couldn't possibly comment, but he's. I think he's a good player. I think he's retired, isn't he, from international cricket, and I think he will go around the world and make a bit of money towards the the autumn of his career. But he's great to watch. He's such a likable cricketer from a cricketer's point of view. He's wholehearted. He plays the right way. He likes to drink after the game, and it's a good cricketer.
So obviously the other one you signed is Daryl Mitchell.
Yeah,
he had a great series over here, didn't he? He got bucket loads of runs.
Yeah. Good signing. Lots of experience in England, and I think it's a really good signing.
So we go 1-1. A few people in the chat. We've got Mike Baker says 1-1. Craig from Portland says 1-1. Colin is always positive. He says 2-0 to England. He's got Colin, by the way. Anyone who likes football on here has got a great book out. So go to Amazon. I'll plug it on the football show after this. Obsession of a. Hang on, 2 ticks, Ian. I will just get it because it's on the side here. I know it's a cricket show. There is Diary of an Obsession. So if you want to buy that, it's on Amazon. It's £15. All proceeds go to the British Heart Foundation and Cancer Research. Your book has been ordered. I ordered it today, and that will be signed by Colin. So Mr. Cricket is back in. Obviously, Rob is a Wolves fan. You are a Wolves fan?
That's right, mate. We're a good side. Liverpool shouldn't.
But this is a good book, and you should really be buying it. I'll send you the link. Anyway, right, we you disappeared. We got to number 8. Ian had Ollie Stone at 8. I had Robinson. Who did you have at 8?
Yeah, Robinson, not no Stone. If you're playing him, Ian, he doesn't bat that. I'm worried if he's batting 8.
Well, I think it's a long tail. I mean, just as as you departed, we did sort of go through what we thought would happen with regards to rotating the bowlers, perhaps in I think Broad and Anderson we mentioned will probably play 1 test. I think Stone's impressed. I think they'll have a look at him, if not this test, in the next test. All eyes on the Ashes with these 2 tests, perhaps the last chance to give people an actual go. But you're right. It's probably going to be Robinson. I said that as well.
We have got a bit of a tail, haven't we?
Let's have a look.
This does worry me a little bit for the summer because you're probably going to have Robinson, Rob, batting at 8.
Yeah, I can live with him at 8. I don't like anyone else at 8. I mean, to be fair, I'm a hypocrite because I'm the biggest shouter for bowlers bowl and batters bat. So it's what it is. Batters get the runs. Bowlers bowl. I agree with Ian. 2 tests, rotate. Yes, New Zealand away, important, but is it really when you've got what we've got coming in the summer? So use it to have a look. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. How many's in the 15 in the squad? I'm pretty sure 14 will play.
Yeah, I said Obviously, Will Jacks is in there. I don't think he'll be getting a gig.
Correct. He's the one for me. He doesn't. Potentially, Lawrence doesn't
You think
either.
Darren Lawrence will get a gig?
Sorry, yeah. So it's the same. So 15th man for me is Will Jacks. Well, he's probably about 23rd man, really. And then Dan Lawrence 14th, and then we'll go from there. So maybe Lawrence gets a gig, maybe not. But I think you're right. They'll look at Stone, Robinson, Potts, and the two main men. So
you go Broad, Jimmy, and Leach for your 9, 10, 11, yeah, for this?
Yeah, and I'd play that. I'd play those two. I'd play Broad and Anderson. I think play them both potentially in the first test, or do you split them? I think probably I'd split them. Maybe play them both, win the first game, or does it matter? World Test Championship. We're talking about next cycle, really, aren't we? About when we do, when we're going to be competing, it's going to be the next cycle. So, they're both not going to be around forever. So at some point, it will be other people. But yeah, the best. I'd go best team first, and then we can look at it, can't we? I think we win the series 2-0.
I'll ask you your prediction. So you've known it. We've both gone 1-1.
Yeah, I think if you would allow me the permutation of if England go hard test one with the side I suggest, then there's a chance we don't win the second one. But you know what? With our batters, it doesn't matter what happens. If we get the amount of runs we potentially should, then the bowlers, if they get 400 and then 300, and we'll chase it. Or we'll have got too many from.
And I think that's the thing as well, Rob. If the batting is clicking, and you've got folks with important roles to play, be nice if the tail wagged. But having the extra bowlers gives you the ammunition to bowl out the opposition. Lawrence might actually get a bit of a gig if they decide to drop Leach for the second, because Lawrence,
we love his little spinners.
He does a bit of twirling, doesn't he? So they could always use Root as well.
Untouched shirt as well.
Yeah, he needs to sort that out.
Scruffy, doesn't it?
But it'd be interesting because I think they're going to have a good look, and they're preparing for the Ashes.
Well, talking of the Ashes and Australia, did anyone see Davey Warner's off stump cartwheeling?
Beautiful.
What a great sight that was. Stuart Bourne must have been licking his lips for the summer.
It was even better watching him walk off.
So, obviously, 2 days gone. Australia won the toss. Did you all see the wicket on Twitter?
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
Well, it's I think Cummins nailed it, didn't he? He said it looks good in the middle, which basically says between, on the tram lines between off and leg, yeah, fair enough. But anything outside the left-handers off stump is already rough. So fair play to the Aussies. They dropped head, didn't they? And went with Renshaw.
Yeah, he done well, didn't he, out first ball?
And
they also went with Ian.
They went there with this spinner, didn't they, as well? This two spinners on this.
We'll get on to Australia won the toss, 177 all out, which was not great. And then obviously India, 321 for 7 with 2 days gone. And yeah, Todd Murphy is his name. What do you know about him? I know he wears glasses. That's about it.
That's a start. Yeah, he's funny enough. I was trying to pick the brains of our last year's Aussie overseas, and he says he's a pretty good Sheffield Shield player. Not been around long.
So he's out-bowled Nathan Lyon. He's taken 5 for 82 on his debut off 36. Nathan Lyon's 1 for 98 off 37. So a long way back for Australia, obviously, in this test. Ravi Jadeja, I think he took 5 on his return, and then he. Do you like his celebration? Do you like his celebration when he gets to 15? He's waving the sword. Could you do that, Ian?
It's far too. It's a while since I had a 50, but I'm a traditional doff of the cap man, so I won't be waving my bat around like a samurai sword. I think it's ostentatious.
What about you, Rob? I could see you doing that.
No, absolutely not, mate. I think ostentatious word of the day, Ian, on a Friday at 8:15. Well done. I'm a.
Good job Brandon's not here, because that would have confused him, wouldn't it?
I'm a back of the bat. Turn it round. Back of the bat show. Casual, subtle. Job to do. Start again. Go again.
Obviously,
Double that.
obviously, tough place to go, India, and I can't really. Do you think Australia are going to have any success out there?
No, they're gonna lose by an innings because India's spin attack is obscene, and then when they then play on their pitches, it's unbelievably tough. England found that out a couple of years ago. England, Pakistan, slightly, same sort of bowling attack, but nowhere near. Like none of those Pakistani spinners get in that. None of the Pakistanis get in the Indian side. The seamers are better. So yeah, toughest gig in cricket, I'd have said. I love cricket in the subcontinent. I love watching in Pakistan, Sri Lanka. I love it there. I love spin. It's far more interesting than seam. I love watching it there. The way the game develops and the pitch changes and it gets harder. India they are unbeatable with those finger spinners where, yes, if it behaves, it turns it turns 12 inches a foot. If it doesn't behave, it's hitting you on the pad in front of all three, or you're poled. So tough. I'd love to see us there. I think we'd be absolute box office out there. You go duck it.
We head there in the winter, don't we? We're off to India. I think 5 tests. We've got 5 tests out there. So
yeah, that'd be awesome. That will be box office, and they know it too. And I think we would probably get to a couple of their. I think we'd get to them a little bit, and they'd have to think about what they do. But with the finger spinners, they don't bowl a bad ball. Like with a Rashid or an Ahmed or whoever, any leg spinner, with the exception probably of Warne and Kumble, you're going to get a bad ball and over even at Test level, and you can sort of pick that ball off. But they just are nagging. Like Ashwin, very hateable cricketer, but he's very good. Axar Patel just bowling. What's his bowling average? Average is like 11. His Test bowling average at home is 11. Jadeja, and then all three of them.
He cleaned us up last time, Axar Patel, when we were out there. Was that when Joe did Root take 5 for 9, Ian? Or was it 5 for 5? It might have been
5 for 8, wasn't it? Or something like that.
In that area.
Yeah.
Over in 2 days, that test, wasn't it?
Yeah. Rich, the other thing about those 3 spinners, right, is they bat 6, 7, 8. And average probably 40 with the bat as well. It's absolutely disgusting.
He was night watchman. Ashwood was night watchman. You've got Axar Patel 52 not out and Jadeja 66 not out. So
there you go.
They've sort of nailed it because they were 240 for 7 and now they're 321 and they're what?
3-man team. 3-man team. Who needs Kohli?
Well, it's interesting you say that, Rob, because Craig in the chat there is asking the question, does anybody expect Kohli to get another Test 100? Or is
I think that's a big shout. Certainly won't. When was his last 100, Ian, in Test cricket?
Oh, blimey.
Got to be 2 years ago. Got to be 2 years at least.
It's a while, isn't it? It's a while.
He obviously scored. He got one in one day the other week. Was it against Sri Lanka? I think he scored. Scored a ton. I think
if it
was second century for
if
India.
If he wasn't Virat Kohli and he had those numbers that he was getting, he's had a couple of scores. But if it was anybody else in anybody else's Test team, they'd be looking at his selection, I think. But he's Virat Kohli.
Right. Anyway, we've done nearly 50 minutes. Have either of you got any other business before we close up?
It's nice to see Chanderpaul's lad get big runs against Zimbabwe. I know Zimbabwe aren't one of the strongest nations, but it's quite nice to see that, and good to see Zimbabwe playing Test cricket with.
How's Gary Balance getting on here?
He got 100 not out, but I'm not counting it as a score. Wisden might do, but I'm ignoring it.
Anything, Rob, before we go?
No, I just thought I'd delight you with Kohli's last Test ton was on the 22nd of November 2019 against Bangladesh.
Wow,
2019.
And his well, to be fair, his last 100 against a proper side was South Africa a month before that. So yeah, it's been nearly 3 years. Highest score is 79 against South Africa at Cape Town, and he got some against Australia and Adelaide. Took up the 70s, but yeah, real long, lean spell. But I'd have him in my side.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks to everyone who's tuned in. Colin, Craig from Portsmouth. I think Mark Baker's in there. Thank you to you, Rob, for popping in. Thanks to Ian. Hopefully next time, Brandon and Neil will be back. Thanks to the dog. Thanks to the cat. Stay with us, Talking Town. 8:30 coming up with me, Martin and Matt. But for now, thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the next pod.
Cheers, guys.